Hello, my name is John Zontok, Johnzontok. This is my interview for Biography Channel's My Ghost Story, which I will be doing along with Dan Dimmick. Dan Dimmick is a friend of mine, and he's an investigator in our group. Dan grew up in Tolland, Connecticut, where the Daniel Benton homestead is, and he told us many stories and that he's experienced along with other people while he was growing up, and he felt that we really should make an effort to try and investigate the place. A little bit about my group. The Northwest Connecticut Paranormal Society was organized in 2004. We're a group of researchers who skeptically investigate areas that are said to be haunted. We search for real evidence, trying to prove that paranormal activity exists. We work alongside several other groups in Connecticut, which include Creepy Connecticut, Huntington Underground Paranormal, and Nutmeg Paranormal. Our core members include a college professor, a professional photographer, a paralegal, business executive, Reiki master, United States Marine, several college students, and yes, we have a dog, a lady, our canine investigator. 4 years ago, we decided that because animals seem to respond to paranormal activity, why not utilize an animal as an investigator or as a tool? We also utilize all the skills that our members bring to our team. The purpose of our group is to educate the general public in all aspects related to the paranormal field. We try to bring closure to people seeking our help. NWCPS performs investigations at the client's request at no charge. All investigations are done by our investigators, who are trained individuals committing to helping the community better understand the paranormal and bring closure to their problems. Everything is kept confidential. The Northwest Connecticut Paranormal Society has done over 200 investigations, including several very historical places in the area, one of them being the Daniel Benton homestead. A little bit about the Daniel Benton homestead. If ever there was a place that had all the possibilities of holding paranormal activity, it would be the Daniel Benton homestead in Tolland, Connecticut. Almost 300 years of history are held within these walls. Love, sickness, sorrow, pain, suffering, imprisonment, all these feelings and emotions have been experienced there. And when you're searching for the paranormal, these feelings and emotions are said to fuel activity. About the history, the Daniel Benton homestead was built in 1720 by Daniel Benton, the same year Tolland became a town. It is the oldest standing structure in Tolland. Daniel Benton built the home, which was very large for its time. Daniel had a son who fought in the French Indian War, and he had several grandchildren who fought in the Revolutionary War. Daniel's grandson, Elijah, was a big part of the history there, and he is a big part of the haunted history as well. Elijah had left home to join he answered the Lexington Alarm and joined the Freedom Fighters. He fought for his country, and in 1776 he was captured by the British during a battle of Long Island, and he was moved to New York Harbor, where he was held on a prison ship. The British held their prisoners on ships rather than on land, and these ships were disgusting. They were filthy. They had rats. They had cockroaches. There was feces all over, and the biggest thing was smallpox. They were very limited on their blankets. A lot of people shared blankets, and the disease just ran rampant. The ships were not a place to be. Shortly after Elijah's capture, he contracted smallpox. Later on, he was traded for another British soldier and was allowed to return home. He made it as far as Hartford, Connecticut before he could not go on. His family got word and sent a carriage and made arrangements for him to come home. Now, before his enlistment to the Revolutionary Army, Elijah had fallen deeply in love with a younger woman in Tolland. Her name was Jemima Barrows. Jemima was 12 years younger, and the Benton family vowed that the marriage would never take place. Elijah coming from a very wealthy family, and Jemima was a very poor farming family. Elijah Benton's homecoming was greeted with mixed emotions by his family. As glad as they were to see him again, he was in such seriously weakened condition and racked by disease so contagious and frequently fatal that the mere presence became a threat to everyone around him, since only those who had survived smallpox and had thus acquired immunity to the disease could safely care for him. The family faced a real dilemma since none of them have ever been exposed to smallpox before. No doubt to their relief, it was great when Jemima Barrows stepped up and said she would take care of Elijah. Um, Several weeks after Jemima started taking care of Elijah, um, Elijah died, January 21st, 1777. Elijah joined his two other brothers in death as a result of smallpox. Shortly after Elijah's death, Jemima died as well of smallpox. She had no one to care for her. Due to the times, they were buried together, but it was inappropriate to bury them in the same plot because they weren't married. So both families agreed uh, to bury them on each side of the carriage drive, which is what we call a driveway today. The other interesting story that during the Revolutionary War, Daniel, Elijah's grandfather, opened his basement to use as a prison for the British and the German soldiers. 18 soldiers in all were kept there. Two of them were British officers. It's not clear how long the stories about the supernatural presence has been at the Daniel Benton homestead, but the tradition is certainly alive. Gail White, the director, told us sightings of soldiers in the front of the building on the steps looking out the windows is a regular thing. The neighbors also state that they see lights and lanterns and candlelights in front of the windows at night when no one is there and the building is shut down and the alarms are set. Also, many reports of voices coming from the basement where the prisoners were held. Our investigation lasted 3 nights. Gail White allowed us to stay in the home till approximately 8 p.m. at night, and then she would lock up and set the alarms. Outside, we would then set up our video cameras with infrared boosters, allowing us to see in the dark in areas where she had told us the sightings were. We also set digital recorders for voice, and we shot several hundred digital pictures at the home. In our evidence findings over the 3 nights, we took a lot of it took a lot of time to review. We had taken 30 plus hours of video and thousands of pictures. The strangest thing we picked up was a picture captured by one of our investigators, Mandy Zontak. She caught what appears to be a Revolutionary War soldier looking out the window at us. We returned and tried over and over to recreate that image, but we had no luck. Gail, the director, also tried to debunk it with no luck. We also picked up 3 voices on digital recorders. One voice sounds like it says Guten Tag, which is a German greeting. The soldiers, being Hessian and from northern Germany, spoke in that dialect. Another voice we recorded sounds like Verdi. We did some research and found a German word that is spelled W-R-D-I-G, and it's pronounced the same, Verdi. Its meaning is worthiness in the military. The last whisper we found sounds like it says Ryan. One of our investigators had asked, "Where do you live?" And the whisper says Ryan. We don't have any investigators named Ryan, so we were kind of lost in what that meant. But a friend of mine who spent a lot of time in Germany said maybe they were saying Rhine, as in the Rhine River, which runs directly through the area in northern Germany where some of these soldiers lived. I truly feel there's something there that night watching us. We've had personal experiences. We had a lot of temperature fluctuations. We felt cold spots. And in the picture, if you look really closely at the picture, you can actually see a flesh-colored face in the top window pane, and below it you see a button lapel, which appears to have brass buttons on it. In the lower window, you see 2 more brass buttons, and off to the right, you'll actually see a hand. The Daniel Benton homestead should be enjoyed by all. It's sagging roofs. It's a very old structure. It definitely shows its age. The beautiful stone walls, the landscape is kept as it would have been kept back in the 1700s, and there's a beautiful giant stone well in the backyard. As soon as you step out of your car, it transports you back in time. Um, it's a place that definitely should be enjoyed. I think it would be a great story for your TV show, um, and I hope you would consider it. Thank you very much. I'm John Zontok of the Northwest Connecticut Paranormal Society.